Queen 10.
Yeah, Levy with a queen 10 and the win.
Called a race with a...
10 of clubs.
He called a race with Queen 10, honey. I had a set. He's supposed to bust me anyway. Called a race with a Queen 10. Turn that player. Idiot player. How do these players, how are they even still in this tournament? It's just unbelievable. This kid probably won't last another hour. It's just so sick. They have no concept of poker.
It was an aggressive call.
Aggressive call? Idiots. Idiot players call races with Queen 10. They don't even know how to spell poker. I mean, like, this kid has all the chips. He probably won't even make the final 200.
And he checks, Phil checks, Malachowski wins.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Uh-oh.
Phil's up. And rolling.
5-7. Idiot from Northern Europe. Call the race with 5-7. Mother guy. Freaking idiots. God, they play so bad.
Welcome you in, Brent, Jeff Platt. This is No Gamble, No Future. We are at, I like to call it our home away from home, the PokerGO studio, and it feels oh so good to be back. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll get Uncle Ron's Super Bowl reaction. How do you think Uncle Ron's doing?
Not well.
It's not a pretty sight.
Yeah.
We will hear from cousin Kristen with her KO pick of the week.
You excited,
Just saying,
Jeff?
Well, it's just always
you
nice.
dressed up so nice for her today.
It's just always nice to see your cousin. Brent and I will get into the fat that is card breaking. We want to hear from you in the chat. Let us know how you did on your Super Bowl plays. But Brent, let's get right to it. Joining us right now, I love saying this, the 15-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner, Phil Hellmuth. Phil, welcome in to No Gamble, No Future.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, Phil, I just want to thank you so much for waking up on time for this week's show, unlike last week where you left us hanging, Phil.
Now, Brent, I want to tell you something. You're used to me just showing up all the time, on time, right? And so I'm used to every interview I do, they let me know the night before.
Yeah.
And so all the interviews I do, even sports, whatever it is, Sports Illustrated, whatever, they always say, hey, listen, they always send me a reminder the night before. So I didn't put it on my calendar. And you, from your perspective, is like, I've been with Poker Central 5 years. Phil's never missed a freaking interview.
Yep.
No problem.
Yep.
I'll just tell him 7 days in advance that he's on at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Fair. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. You know what? You made it here this week. We're excited.
Nice, baby.
We're excited. How many interviews have you ever missed in your entire career?
Really not many. I canceled an interview once or twice, but I mean, in the last 5-6 years, I don't think I've missed a single interview.
Yeah.
Now, I won't schedule one before noon.
I knew that.
So I tell my sponsors, hey, listen, if it's gonna be before noon, I'm not gonna be there. But I haven't missed any.
I will say, in your defense, of all the years we've been working together now, never have you been late, never have you missed an interview. And it just so happened that last week, I'll take a little bit of fault for maybe not giving you the alarm at 2 a.m. like I did last night to give you the reminder. But needless to say, we're thrilled to have you on the show. I know the fans in the
don't
chat are as well.
misunderstand me. It was 85% my fault. I was just searching for the 15%. It's your fault.
Phil, let's talk Super Bowl. What sides were you on going in, and give us your impression of what you saw on Sunday?
Oh my God, I thought Kansas City was going to score 35 points, and I really thought they were going to win. I had a phenomenal year in posting my picks. I had Tampa Bay to win over 9.5 games. For my second biggest bet, I had Miami to win over, I think it was 5 games, was my biggest bet of the year. And so I posted these bets, and my pick of the weeks, I just crushed it until the last 2 games. I had Green Bay, and then I had Kansas City. I also had the over in that game, and so I really thought Kansas City was just going to rumble and crush. And I forgot. I watched Tampa Bay all year. I forgot how good their defense was. I even posted about how good their defense was a bunch of times this year, and they were phenomenal. And you got to give them credit, because they were in Mahomes' face. I think I saw it 52 times or something. And I think I saw it. Mahomes ran 495 yards. That's talking about just backwards and sideways. You know? I mean, I really think that if you have a phenomenal defense that can get there just a half a second early all the time, that's a championship defense. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we forget in the era of these great offenses that defense wins championships.
Well, let me ask you, Phil, is Tom Brady the greatest quarterback of all time?
Well, I mean, who else are you going to put in the conversation? I mean, to me, it's not even close. And someone during the game, they put up this cool graphic of me alongside Tom Brady as being, you know, which I thought was really, really cool, and I tweeted it out. And everybody somehow thought I was comparing myself to Brady. I'm not comparing myself to Brady, but in poker, which is 1/10 the size of the NFL, I mean, I do have all the records, and it was pretty cool to see this thing on my Twitter, what I've done, what he's done side by side. And somehow it made that about me, and I'm bragging. Nice job, Phil.
That would be, once again, 15-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner Phil Hellmuth. Phil, give us an insight into your season as far as sports betting goes. I know you crushed it. I know you tweeted some picks, and you don't have to get specific with us, but we know that you'll fire the 10K World Series of Poker main event. What are you firing as far as sports betting is concerned? Are you on multiple plays a week? Are you just sweating your Dolphins throughout the year? What's it like for Phil Hellmuth during the course of an NFL season?
Well, I'm not a huge sports bettor, right? Like, I mean, you know, some of these deals I've done in the business world, you know, we did our first SPAC last year, and most people watching this, maybe half the people listening or 40% know what a SPAC is, maybe 30%. And so, you know, that's where we went out and raised $300-400 million in the market, and then we tried to find a company. Well, I found a company for us to take public called Rush Street Interactive, which is the biggest legalized casino in the USA. And they just got into Michigan, they just got into Virginia on sports betting. And so, and basically that was fun because they went public for $4 billion. And so I brought that deal together, and it's been fun for me, and I'm going to make, you know, many millions. I don't know what first place in the main event was, but maybe I'll make $5 million from this deal. Then we had our second SPAC and our third SPAC. I didn't bring the companies in, but so that's why I've really been making a lot of money. I'm also on 12 advisory boards. All these company founders, they talk to me and they're like, we want to give you 2% of our company to advise. And I'm like, dude, if I advise you, that's 10 hours a year. And they're like, all right, we'll take it. And so it's kind of fun for me, you know, so that's where I've really been crushing it. The sports is fun for me because I watch 5 or 6 games in the NFL every single week. I watch the Thursday game, I watch the Monday game, and then I'll watch I watch 5 games just on Sunday, too early and too late. I kind of fast forward through them, through all the commercials. So I'm going to say I watch 7-8 games a week. And so I really enjoy this kind of like challenge of trying to become a great sports bettor. I enjoy this challenge of thinking I can beat the NFL. Now, I know I can't beat the NFL because all kinds of stuff happens that doesn't make any sense. But I look at Geraldo Vulgaris, you know, and I watch that he made, a fortune, deca millions, $100 million betting the NBA. He told me what he figured out, and it just made sense to me. I'm like, oh my God, how could 100 people not see that, or 1,000 people? And so another guy I know is, the best cricket bettor in the world, and has consistently made piles of money. And so I think for people like you guys and me, we're always thinking, man, if we can figure this out, we are going to get rich because, we can, everybody out there is like, if we can figure out sports betting, we're going to make a lot of money. And the NFL is really tough. But the totals I've won ever since the first year I did it, ever since Peyton Manning went to Denver and they had the 8 on the board. Can he win 8 games? And I'm like, well, wait a minute, Tim Tebow won 8 games. Or whatever, or 7 or whatever it was. And I'm like, oh my God, of course Manning's going to do this. And every year I look at the NFL totals board, and every year there's 1 or 2 picks, 1 or 2 things that don't make any sense. And so every year I've won money doing that. But this is a very long-winded way of saying that for me, that was only a 10K bet. Miami to win over 5 games. And I think I just keep betting more and more each year, but relative to my net worth, I'm not betting a lot of money. And I think that's a good lesson for people out there. I've been trying to teach, some of the poker players, hey, why don't you just bet 1,000 a game and enjoy it rather than bet, 20 or 50 or half your bankroll. You know what I mean?
See, I'm guilty of that.
Well, your bankroll's very low.
I'm guilty of that. Yeah, well, that's what happens, Jeff. Let me ask you this, Phil. So you're watching a bunch of NFL, and I know you're doing 5 games at once on Sunday alone. Do you transition now over to the NBA? Do you watch a little college hoops and get excited for March Madness? Walk us through the rest of the sports year. How are you dialed in?
So normally I'm pretty busy. And so, for me, the minute the NFL's over, I don't watch as much stuff. Now, I'm a Warriors fan. So in a non-pandemic time, I'm sitting on the floor a lot next to my friend Joe Lacob, the primary owner. And, and I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm bringing super cool people with me. Like, Chamath already has four seats on the floor. So, but I'm bringing, my friends like Bill Gurley and David Sachs and some of these guys, Jason Kalkanis, and some of these guys you've seen me film with. And we're just making a really fun night of it, going to a Warriors game. During pandemic times, I'm not traveling as much. Okay. And because I'm not traveling as much, I've been watching a lot more sports on television since the NFL ended. And I'll tell you what, Brent, I've been watching the Warriors, and I have never watched them this much on television. And I think during those years when they had Kevin Durant, they were so good, they just won every game, it seemed like to me. And then last year, they just weren't very good at all. And this year, they have to work hard and come together to win games. And for me, it's a lot of fun to watch my friends. I mean, Steph Curry, Draymond Green's a really good friend of mine. We've hung out a lot. We've played a lot of poker together. We even played on Poker Central. So to watch him pull the team together alongside Steph, and then some of these guys I haven't met, like Oubre, it's just a lot of fun, and they have to pull together to win. So I'm watching a lot more Warriors games, and I'm trying to get into March Madness because I think that, we spend a lot of time at home now, Brent, and normally I'm traveling. I was scheduled to host 5 different TV shows in 2020, wow. and that all left, and so yeah, I'm having fun. I'm also playing a ton of online poker.
The Warriors are an absolute treat to watch this year, just pure entertainment. Rough loss for them yesterday to the Spurs. Phil, who's the best poker player in the NBA, in your opinion?
Draymond Green.
Why?
I've been coaching Draymond for 3 or 4 years. And, during the pandemic, he played some online poker. And man, he has really figured the game out. But that's not surprising. But imagine if you play, 300 hours of online poker. Imagine that translates to how many hours in the real world. And you have, one of the best. I think I'm the best Hold'em player in the world. But there's probably a lot of people out there that say, Phil, you're 50th or 100th best. And I think I've probably picked up 2 million playing poker online in the last. Things have just been going amazingly well. And and so I've coached him up, and he's winning in some tough games now. So yeah, he's the best player in the NBA. Steph Curry has huge natural skills, but he's the last Warrior standing. The last three times in a row, the last 3 tournaments in a row that I hosted, charity events for the Warriors, and him and Draymond and most of these guys try their hardest. Klay Thompson grew up around poker, but just doesn't play as often. I know that I heard rumors that Draymond and Klay and Steph sat down. They've had a regular game on the Warriors playing that everybody knows about for 10 years, ever since David Lee and Bogut used to play with them. And they haven't played much this year, but when they sat down, I think Steph was saying, wow, Draymond, look, you're playing so good right now. You must have been playing a lot of poker. Yes.
Hey, Phil, let me rewind a moment. You mentioned Chamath. He's got the floor seats at all the Warriors games. You guys came out here. You played on high-stakes poker after dark. You're on record of calling him, your bestie, one of your best friends. You fit right into that crew with Chamath and Jason and Sachs. Can you tell us, how did you even meet this guy? What's the backstory with Hellmuth?
Well, I was at the Aria Hotel eating dinner, and my parents were there, and my wife was there, and I think one or two of my sons was there. And we're talking about maybe '09, and we were at the Aria. We were at, there was a place there that used to be a Japanese restaurant where you could get sushi. I forget what it used to be called, but now it's called Catch. But we were there, and Hellmuth came up to me, and he was with Dave Goldberg, Hellmuth, Goldie, rest in peace. Sheryl Sandberg, who's one of the biggest business names on the planet, was married to Goldie. They were considered the most powerful business couple on the planet in every Forbes write-up. And Hellmuth's wife at the time, Bridget. And so the four of them came up to me and just said hello, and we live in Palo Alto. And I was like, man, I was thinking to myself, I really don't have any friends in Palo Alto. I haven't had time. I'm super busy. My spare time is used on business, and my spare time is used golfing. And my spare time, number one, is used for family, because when I'm home, I just want to really engage with my family. And so I reached out to this Hellmuth character a couple times, and I ended up going over to his house. They were playing 5-5-10, Brent. And this game was so small for me. I mean, 5-5-10. So I played horrible, and because how can you not call with a 3-4 suited for $100 every time you have it, And so I couldn't beat the game, and it would drive me. But I still had the poker bred instincts, and so I stormed out of that game several times. Once I walked home from his game. And they thought that was enormously entertaining. And so Hellmuth and I developed this rivalry of who was going to be the big winner. And I remember he was up 40 or 50,000, and I was down 20. And we thought it was impossible I'd ever close that gap. And we kept score a lifetime. And pretty soon I flipped him. But I was really having trouble struggling. But I loved the crew. And so imagine playing social poker when you've been a pro your whole life. It doesn't sound attractive to a professional poker player, but it was super attractive. I loved social poker. And so then they went to 25-50, and I won a couple 100,000. And then they went to 100, 200. And I think I had a year where I won $1 million. And they'd been making fun of me the whole time for years and years that I suck at poker. Every time I took a bad beat and I melted down, they'd film it and start singing songs and dancing. They were teasing me. They were calling me the greatest in a mocking way. And then I'm like, and once I got to 100, 200, and I picked up a milli, I was like, boys, I am the fucking greatest. And the next year I felt so guilty that I think maybe I won 80,000 for the year. And that was all because I won 75 the last night. And because I was drinking a lot more, and I'm like, fuck, these are my best friends, And so even though the guy who's worth the least is worth 100 million in the game, or 150 million, I still felt bad. And then back to 2019 or whatever, I was playing my best again. Anyway, for me, that game has number one been about social, and I've just had a blast, and I've become best friends with the guys. I gave Hellmuth one of my bracelets. I gave Bill Lee one of my bracelets. The guy who's scheduled to get my next bracelet is Sky Dayton. And then David Sachs is going to get my bracelet after that. And then Rick Thompson after that. And so, it's just, I can't describe what a charge it's been to feel like birds of a feather flock together. And, and I'm still not sure I quite fit in with these. Well, I do. I feel like I fit in with these guys, and they're the masters of the universe.
Let me ask you, Phil. I assume you're the biggest winner in the game. I could be wrong, but if it's not you, who would you consider to be the best player in that home game? Who's won all the money other than yourself?
I'm the biggest winner in the home game, but Hellmuth is a hell of a poker player, and he's been playing forever. Another one of my friends, who came on the commentary, Sky Dayton. He's a hell of a poker player, and everybody thinks he's better than me at Pot Limit Omaha. He hasn't won as much as me, but I mean, like he's tremendous. I know that Draymond Green has become a hell of a player. Bill Gurley, who was voted the best VC on the planet by the New York Times, his game just gets better and better and better and better. These guys, they all want to play good, and so if you take my home game and you put it against any other home game on the planet, we're going to crush. And you saw that, Brent. Rick Thompson, Chamath, and I, the three of us came into Rob's home game. I invited Chamath and Ricky T, and we won $1 million between the three of us.
It's pretty strong, I would say. I remember Rob's home game, and I love these new Poker After Dark episodes, just like we saw in one of the previous seasons, which does feature your home game, Phil, with Chamath, and they needle, and they needle, and they needle, but it seems like you all get along so well. So, Phil, let's use that to transition more into your poker game. You mentioned briefly that online poker has been really good to you over quarantine, over this last year or so. What do you see these next 5 years like for you, assuming the world can get back to normal? We always want some kind of a bracelet prediction from you. Will you just dive full force back into the live tournament scene when it does return?
Well, I mean, I do find it. It's kind of frustrating / entertaining / motivating for me when you have that very small cadre of players that for some reason doesn't think I'm great at poker. Mm-hmm. And I keep thinking to myself, man, the last time I played poker in the real world in 2019, I had a second and a third and like a fifth and a set. I mean, like, it's just ridiculous. I'm down there all the time for bracelets, and in every game. And I've worked so hard my whole life to become great at these games, and I've been studying these games with, a group of players for a long, long time, world-class players. And so it's been fun for me, but it's also been a little bit, so the world out there, most people watching this podcast is like, Phil's the greatest. He has 15 bracelets. You look at the last 5 years, I think maybe I've won more bracelets than anybody in the last 5 years, maybe more final tables. I don't know, but it's right in that conversation. And so it kind of is a little bit frustrating for me when you have this small group of people that doesn't quite get it. They think that their style is best. They don't think I play their style. I think their style is off. I look at their style because I have to, and I'm like, wait, that's bad. And, I usually come up with a couple of flaws. And so for me, I just have to put my head down, keep my head down, not get too cocky. And, and right now my ego's a little bit out of control. Maybe you can tell from this interview.
Nah.
But for a long time during the pandemic, my ego wasn't under control. Was under control. Who can have a big ego during a pandemic? I had a little bit of atrial fibrillation, a little AFib, which, when you're 30% of the people have it, it's not a big deal. It's not life-threatening. But, that hits me once a month, once every 6 weeks. And then there's a pandemic. And you're stuck at home. No one's telling you you're great every day. And so, for a long time, when my head is down, when I'm focused, it seems like I just win and win and win and win and win and win and win. And then when I get too cocky, that's when the fall starts.
Love that, Phil. Hey, let me dive into the chat. We got so many folks at home watching on Facebook, on YouTube. We love you guys. Thank you so much for chiming in. A couple questions. One from Stefan Vapol. He's our #1 fan from High Stakes Feud. Jeff and I know him very well. Phil, did you have any action or did you bet on the feud between Doug Polk and Daniel Negreanu? And overall, what are your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, I was disappointed in the way that Daniel played. But I know his coaches are brilliant. And so he has brilliant coaches. And so everything that I had talked about with his coaches, you see, I talked to these guys for a couple of hours. I love the way they thought about No Limit. Then I sent them to my agent. And then they ended up with Daniel, not with me, because I was like, what are they going to teach me? We're aligned on our philosophies. So I think they're great coaches and they know what they're doing. I think that their heads-up theories about, 3-betting every time you have Jack 3 of clubs and Jack 5 of clubs and a lot of these hands, that seem like that's a lot of money to get in some weird spots. So I was betting on Daniel's talent, and I think that if Daniel's going to try to play Doug playing pure GTO or next level GTO, then to me, Doug has a lot of fire. And he's, and so Daniel's trying to fight fire with fire. I thought Daniel should have fought fire with Daniel. And so I told Doug I'd play him next. And, and I'm ready. So I've won 29 of my last 30 heads-up matches. I won the last heads-up tournament I played in. And so I think I've only lost once to Kerry Katz, our boss, at a World Series tournament. And I remember I had aces and he had sixes. But I mean, to be fair, most of the money went in after it came King 6 deuce. I overplayed the aces.
I do have a little follow-up here, and this is from Pat Emanuel in our YouTube chat. Phil, we know you just beat Antonio's ass in high-stakes duel, 3 consecutive matches. You just pounded him. We haven't seen Antonio since. Pat Emanuel is asking, because Danny Negreanu called you out and said, Phil, I want you next for the high-stakes feud heads-up battle. Any interest in getting in the ring with Negreanu?
Of course. I mean, they came to me and they said, you guys, Poker Central came to me and they said, hey, your first match is going to be Antonio. Will you play it? I said yes. And they were a little bit surprised. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, well, of course I'll play Antonio. I'm so glad this is going to happen. And they're like, well, he's been challenging for years. And I'm like, well, he wants to challenge where we're using a gun on each other or whatever. I'll play him in public anytime. I didn't even hesitate. And then they said, for your next opponent, it's going to be Phil Ivey. Will you take him? I said, snap, yes.
Oh.
Because Antonio had held over me lifetime. And I want to play the guys that have held over me lifetime because it's a chance to get rid of that, and Ivey's held over me lifetime. I mean, he's beat me more weird pots than anybody on the planet. So I said yes. And then and they said, will you play Dwan? And I said yes. Ooh. And so I think the next matchup's going to be Dwan or Ivey.
Oh, baby.
And, but anyway, they're like, what do you mean you said yes? I'm like, well, of course. I'm not afraid of anybody, In fact, I just want to play heads up and we'll just see what happens. And I play a different style. I think my style is right. But luckily, no one's studying me. I mean, the weirdest thing is this in my life, Brent.
Yep.
I just keep winning and going deep and winning. Nobody studies me. The only guy who plays similar to me, Kerry Katz, calls me and says, I play very similar to you. And he's done pretty well. But no one studies me. It's the weirdest thing ever. Instead, they're studying GTO. Thank God. And whatever's going to be next after GTO, let them study that. You know what I mean? When I was young and I saw Jack Keller winning a lot in Limit Hold'em, I started studying him because I'm like, all right, this guy's getting it done, and I want to know what he's doing. And so when it comes to the next heads up, Negreanu's interesting for me. I think the reason I love Doug is because Doug will lay me 10-1. And maybe I think I'm a favorite against him at evens. But he believes he has a very big ego, and he thinks he can lay me 10-1. So now of course, no one in the online world, everyone in the online world thinks he's 10-1. So that's the great thing. They're going to lay me 10-1 on this match, and if I end up winning at evens easily, everyone's going to be shocked again, just like they were shocked last year and the year before and the year before, and every year they underestimated me since 1989. And everybody's going to be shocked. Wow, how did Phil do it? He limped every fucking hand, Because when I limp every fucking hand, it's tough to beat that strategy. And for Doug, I'd have to throw in a couple of other things. But you'll see me limp every hand, and you'll see me fold 20% of the hands. And, I'll still play some big pots against Doug because I think he's crazy. So, but I think Doug is a super talented guy and an amazing player. But, I mean, like, my friends are all like, hey, you might as well ask for 10-1 because they'll give it to you. So I asked them for 10-1, and we'll see what happens. But, I don't think many people think. I think everybody thinks I'm a 5-1 underdog. I've won 29 of my last 30 matches against world-class players. Now, if I'm playing 2 games at once, that's probably going to be hard for me online.
But still, Hellmuth versus Dwan, or Hellmuth versus Ivey, or Hellmuth versus Negreanu, or Hellmuth versus Polk, that is going to absolutely captivate the poker world. All right, Phil, before we let you go, we want to involve you and the chat in a little bit of trivia, if you're cool with that. Well, we're going to fire off a couple questions your way. We're going to fire off a couple of questions the chat's way. We want the chat to weigh in with what they think the correct answer is. And Phil, we want you to weigh in with what you think the correct answer is. And guys, let's just fire up that trivia.
Let's do it
Right now. And Brent, you can also chime in as well. So question number one, Phil, here we go. How many World Series of Poker caches do you, the greatest poker player of all time, have? Is it A, 136? Is it B, 148? C, 165? Or D, 182? How many caches for you, Phil?
And let's let the chat weigh in here, too.
For sure it's B or C. I think it's B. Because I think I saw this the other day, but I could be wrong.
You do think it's B, 148, and this does include the numbers from over the summer. So the chat's weighing in with either B or C, a couple of 136 guesses
I'm
in
going
there, Brent.
with B. I mean, if Phil Hellmuth probably knows how many damn caches he has, so I'm going B.
Okay, let's see what the correct answer
148.
is. The answer is
Oh my
C.
God.
It is 165 caches for you, Phil. Even better. How about that?
I love it. I love it. By the way, did you see that Daniel passed me on the all-times cash? He literally cashed like, what did he cash, 40 times or 35 times this summer?
Right. He had all the WSOP.com and all the GG caches, which do go on.
I give Daniel credit because he did it. But I will say this: I'm not sure. I mean, it seemed so easy to cash in the online tournaments. But anyway, whatever. You got to give Negreanu credit, man. I mean, he is a great player, one of the greatest poker players in the world.
That was supposed to be the softball. You know, we thought, Phil, you knew your own damn stats. Now this is going to get tough. Jeff, take us to number two.
Yeah, let's ask you question number two. Phil Ivey won his first World Series of Poker bracelet in the 2000 $2,500 pot limit Omaha event. What place, Phil, did you finish in? Was it 3rd, 4th, 7th, or 12th?
In 2000?
Yeah.
I was graduating high school.
4th.
4th. Brent, what do you think? That sounded confident.
I mean, that sounds very confident. If Phil is saying 4th, I'm going 4th. I'm on team PTO. I'm not talking paid time off. Phil Theory Optimal.
Second in that tournament was Amarillo Slim, and first was Ivy.
My follow-up question to you was going to be who Phil Ivey beat, heads up, but you already had that. You had that as Amarillo Slim.
You know why that one hurts so much? Because I miscounted my stack in this weird hand where I was supposed to get my money in, and I asked the dealer to burn turn, and I was going to make like top full house on the turn and river, and I was just like, I'm Marcus from Europe, really good player, and I had a hand I had to go with and I didn't go with, and regretted that ever since. And then Ivy was lucky against Marcus. I remember he called it off in a spot where the board was paired. And he needed a 7, a heart, or an ace, and he hit an ace, or he was all in. And I remember that. I still remember that I was supposed to play my hand, and then I don't know. I think I would have finished first or second if I just played the hand right.
That's an interesting story. There you go, 4th place. All right, ready for our next one. Most people in the chat, of course, had that one. Next question, Phil. If you hold 4 cards to a flush after the flop, what's the probability that you will hit your draw? Brent, I know this question scares you because it deals with too many numbers. Is it 20%, 28%, 32%, or 36%? Let us know in the chat what you guys are thinking. Is it A, B, C, or D? And we thank you all for tuning in, especially on our new No Gamble, No Future channel on YouTube. So you can watch us on the PokerGo YouTube channel, but you can also check us out on the No Gamble, No Future channel. And we would love for you to like and to subscribe. All right, Phil, what do you think for this one?
I don't think I know. It's D.
Phil says D.
Yeah, it's D.
Yeah, even Brent knows, and it's a math question. Most people in the chat have C or D. Let's see the correct answer. The correct answer is... it is D.
Let me just say one thing to the chat because people will learn something from this.
Yeah.
You take the number of outs, which a flush draw is 9, and you multiply it times 4. So folks at home, if you don't remember anything else from today, 4 times 9 is 36%. So straight and a flush draw, Sometimes you have, 14 outs and you're 56%. So just take your number of outs on the flop and multiply by 4, and you're going to get a very close approximation.
Even you can do that.
That's how you win 15 bracelets.
That is
A
indeed.
little basic math.
All right, Phil, for our final trivia question, watch that earpiece
Let me
there.
just
You
hold
doing
this
all right?
in my ear.
Phil, we want to take you back to an Aria high roller at 10K. Now, this high roller was down to 2 players. It was Scott Seaver against our very own Brent Hanks. So we're going to show you the hand, and I want you to tell us what Brent Hanks has in his hand. Let's take a look and roll that video. Brent Hanks
Seaver takes his turn.
Scott Seaver at a 25K Aria high roller down 2 heads up.
This is where I get them, Jeff.
Yeah.
This is where I get them.
Yep.
Tell me the flop, guys, because I'm a ways away from the computer.
Backdoor
Sure,
nut
the flop
spades
is
and ace high
King
for
7
Seaver.
4 with 2 spades. King of diamonds, 7 of spades, 4 of
25,000.
spades.
And
The turn
spikes
is the
an
ace of clubs.
on the turn.
Brent either has the ace king of hearts, the king 7 of hearts, the 5-3 off,
This time
pocket
it's
4s,
50K
and what do
to
you guys
call
in
after
the
the
chat
second
think
check
that
from
Brent
Hanks.
has? Everybody in the chat just stunned that Brent made the final 2 at this tournament.
I'm going to go with the 5-3 off.
He says the 5-3 off. I want to get some guesses in the
Check raised
chat
to
first before we reveal the correct
175,000 by
answer.
Hanks.
He thinks I would try and bluff Scott Seaver.
Thinks that
I
you
don't
would
think
go
the ace
ham
deuce
with
is
the
going
5-3 off.
anywhere.
Scott Seaver, look how intimidating he is.
You know what? He's Phil Hellmuth for a reason. He's 15-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner for a reason. Ladies and gentlemen, that correct answer is the 5-3 off.
The river
You
tears the
did
board
go
with a
ham,
7.
didn't you?
I tried to bluff him really good. Yeah, and it was going to work.
Until, let's see.
Until it didn't really, Jeff. Yeah.
As Seaver reluctantly
And they
makes the
sped
call.
this up because he was in a
That's
tank
correct,
a long
but you
time.
can see he
I'm sure
did
they
not
did,
like
man.
it
I'm
one
sure
He
bit.
they
was.
did. Looked
He was
like
in
a
the tank
snap
long
call to
time.
me.
Was not a snap call.
It would take, Brent, you'd have to be crazy, which you are,
Yeah.
in the best possible way, to bluff off your money to Scott Seaver.
God damn it. That was my shot to shine right there. That's how I would have made it into the Poker Hall of Fame next to Phil Hellmuth. All I had to do was win that event.
Well, Phil, we thank you, and we thank you again for joining us. We very much appreciate it. Appreciate the time, Phil. Thanks.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. I'll be on again, I'm sure.
Love
no
it, man.
gamble,
Thank you so much.
no future.
There we go. He said
Yeah.
it. No gamble, no future. The great Phil Hellmuth, the 15-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner, and what a treat that was for us, huh?
Awesome, man. Just awesome. I'll tell you what, he was getting a lot of digs about his video quality, calling
Yeah.
it a 2000 Nokia that he was dialing
Yeah.
in from. At least the audio was awesome. He woke up on time. That was a treat, Jeff.
And can I stick up for Phil?
Please.
The video issue.
That's our fault?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
our
going to
fault.
blame Brent,
It's our
but
fault.
he's going to blame me. I think the video issue was on our end. I think Phil's setup was good to go. A treat to have Phil Hellmuth in the mix. All right, a bunch more that we want to get to. We're going to cram it into these next 20 or 25 minutes or so, and we are excited about it. All right, Brent, we were talking with Phil about Super Bowl Sunday, Kansas City Chiefs versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who would you say is the biggest Chiefs fan that you know?
I know one person that is a diehard Chiefs fan. That one person is everybody's uncle, Uncle Ron.
Uncle Ron, who went to the cash advance store before the Super Bowl. Take a look. Oh boy, just tortured.
Amazing. Did you notice he was at Arrowhead Stadium? He was at Arrowhead Stadium. There's a stuffed dog who I believe the name is Carl Childers that's next to him.
Yeah,
Everything
Carl
about that video is stunning. And there's also a $100 bill on fire.
Right.
At the beginning of it. I mean, just devastation for Uncle Ron.
Also looked very cold.
Freezing.
Yeah.
Freezing.
Just
Nice that he had his whitey tighties.
Rocking the shorts. All right,
Yeah.
Brent, we got UFC 258 coming up on Saturday. You fired up? You excited for the card? You
I'm
feeling it?
juiced, man. I'm juiced. I don't know a single person on this card, but I know who I'm going to bet on. We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there, and you guys in the chat can chime in with who you like in UFC. Let us pull up that card. And Brent, the main event, the welterweight championship on the line. It's Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. Usman the favorite, coming off wins against Tyron Woodley, against Colby Covington, most recently a unanimous decision over Jorge Masvidal. Burns, 6 straight wins, most recently a dominant performance against Woodley. And so that, Brent, is the main event. Usman, a decent-sized favorite in the women's flyweight division, and I am so excited for this one, Brent, because it features my girl. Finally, some respect on the name of Macy the Future Barber, taking on Alexa Grosso. Barber's only loss, Brent, the only loss of her career, came last January. She tore her ACL mid-fight.
Wait, tore the ACL?
Tore the ACL mid-fight, kept going.
She's drawn dead.
Well, she's not going to tear it. You watch the earpiece again.
I don't need it.
Okay.
I don't need it.
I don't think she's going to tear her ACL again.
Yeah.
I think she'll just be good to go. And mark my words, Macy Barber beats Valentina Shevchenko for the belt sometime in 2022. The future is here with Macy Barber. And Kelvin Gastelum also in the mix for this card. But who cares about that? Because next is Cousin Kristen's KO pick of the week. Let's hear from Cousin Kristen on No Gamble, No Future.
Hey guys, I'm back to bring you my KO pick of the week, and in honor of 15-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner Phil Hellmuth joining us on today's show, I am going to tell you my top 3 favorite poker players. But before we jump into that, I just have to say, Phil, it is an absolute honor to be on today's show with you. You are someone who is so well known, respected, and just looked up to in the community.
Idiot from Northern Europe.
I was really looking forward to having you on last week's episode as well, but we're going to keep the positivity here. You're always in the right place at the right time, and sometimes the right place is your own bed.
If I'm only playing at my best a couple times a year, then I'm not sure that I'm a great poker player.
But we all know Phil is top tier, so I want to give the spotlight to 3 other poker players that I love today. No order of any sort, so let's just start it off with Daniel Negreanu. I freaking love watching Daniel Negreanu play. He brings such a good energy to the table. He just genuinely has a good time, and I love that.
All in.
This is getting so sick. How can I flop the nuts every single hand and lose? I mean, what in the world is going on? Are you kidding me? You gotta be just kidding.
And while I would absolutely hate losing my money to him, I would also absolutely love being at a table with him because of the vibe he brings. Next up we have Maria Ho, and I'm so impressed by her. She is a multifaceted woman, which is so empowering to me.
Oh, show the bluff. I love you. Show the bluff.
Oh boy.
Show the bluff.
Queen, A6.
Oh, she showed it.
The dagger.
She's a brilliant poker player. She's an accomplished and charismatic host and commentator. That's just, mwah. In a male-dominated industry, to see a woman succeed in that way is just wonderful. I love it. And also, she's absolutely stunning, so that's also wonderful. And last but certainly not least, we have my cousin, Brent Buffalo Hanks, of course.
What?
It's been amazing to watch Brent's career, from seeing him get his ass kicked by our great-grandmother in gin rummy, to watching him win a World Series of Poker bracelet, to now being involved in his community in so many ways. When he moved away to Las Vegas to pursue poker, that was just, it was momentous for our family. He really inspired me to just take life by the aces and pursue the unconventional. Because as we say here, no gamble, no future.
Just wonderful stuff, isn't it, Jeff? Just beautiful stuff, right by the aces, you know, and I'm right there on Mount Rushmore amongst the greats, Daniel Negreanu, Phil Hellmuth, Maria Ho, and me.
Didn't think we were in for that one. Did not think we were in for the Brent Hanks praise hour. Kristen, you're the best. Hello, hi, how are you? Can let's just get back to picking. Let's just get back to making plays. We praised Brent enough. I think that's good. I think we're good. I think we're good.
Even the chat agrees, Jeff.
I don't see anybody agreeing with you belonging in Mount Rushmore as far as poker is concerned in the chat. All right, let's get to what's been hot over these last few months. Sports cards, right? Sports cards and card breaking, which is really just opening. Breaking is the fancy word that us pros in the biz use. So I had a box of Panini, the good stuff, the 2018-19, the Luka rookie year, the Trae Young rookie year, and we did a little breaking of our own. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Breaking Worse.
What could go wrong?
Not a lot.
Okay, so we are going to take breaking, as they call it, to the next level.
Yeah, let's break
As
this
we do
shit.
have a box of Panini NBA Hoops 2018-19.
You spent a lot on this, didn't you?
Spent a little bit too much money, had a little too much vino that night, and thought I would fire off. Good.
Who's Scal Labaseri?
Scal Labaseri. He's, I don't think, in the
Julius
league.
Randle any good?
Yeah, he's
Never
good,
saw
but
him.
again,
Good
the first
Kentucky.
couple of basic cards won't be great.
How about Kevin Love?
Oh, Jacob Evans, $12 card. Oh, snap.
We are changing the card breaking game.
There it is. There it is.
Okay, let's sleeve it
Okay,
up.
let's put that in a little plastic.
Yep.
Put it right in the condom. Card condom.
Card condom.
Okay. This is exciting.
This
This is exciting.
This has to be good, right? It's that number one.
It's got to be a great card.
Like what, $20,000?
I would assume, at least. I mean, you've paid a lot for these.
Oh, nice. Kevin Knox.
This is an absolute dud of a pack.
We've got
I mean,
plenty of time.
just a dud.
I have a red rookie. It could be Trae Young.
Hit me up, really? Oh my.
Sweat. It is a Hawks logo.
It's
Hey!
Trae Young. It's
Hey!
Trae Young.
We're
Let's
back.
go. Let's go.
Alright.
That's worth
It's
it.
a base card, but it should. We'll look it up, but it should be a decent amount.
That's, I mean,
Here's Trae for you.
Needed that one.
Kemba.
dude, I could do this every day.
Yeah, it's a good sweat.
This is fun.
Of course you could do
This
this.
would probably save us so much money. Casino.
Oh, at the casino. I was like, says who?
I mean, we should
spent
still do it.
$900 for this. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, we had a good time doing it.
We had a good time. Thank
Yeah.
you all for watching this very shutdown.
Glad
short
that
and
we're not going to
edited
use a
version.
single part of this. So.
Yeah.
No, we will. We'll
No,
use it.
yeah, we will. Yeah, yeah.
This is good. This is good.
It's
Okay,
great.
I'm gonna
It's gonna go over well.
Very impressive, Jeff. I love being a part of this, though.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot of fun for
It
you
is
to
great.
sweat the action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I get a
But,
piece of this? Do I have a free roll?
Do you think, like, if I spent $875 on a box of basketball cards and my return on investment was about $140, do you think that I would grant you a piece of that return?
Well, yeah, I mean, probably for the next box.
The answer is going to be no.
Yeah.
But there's more card breaking to come. We got one of those tripod cameras, and then you can see the card, and it'll be great, I'm sure. Breaking Worse will return next week. All right, let's get to our cards, and of course we start with the results, and we'll start, Brent, with my results. I did have Kansas City, which was not fantastic. I did fine on the props, I would say. You see, I had the Mahomes over rushing yards. Also fired on that one with our guy, David Tuckman. Take that, Tuck. Very sharp. Don't want to mess with this guy. The Hardman props didn't quite work out. He had a lot of targets, though. Coin toss heads, of course. Told you guys it was a lock. National Anthem over was a lock as well until this idiot. He's not an idiot. He seemed like a very nice guy who didn't know what he was doing. He was near the stadium and posted a video of the rehearsal and timed it out. And when he timed it out to 2:15 or 2:16, the line was taken off the board everywhere, or it just shot up through the roof everywhere. So hopefully you jumped on it when I gave you that lock on this very show, the over 2 minutes. And then we have Leonard Fournette over 11.5 carries. Boom, easy. Chris Godwin over 5.5 receptions. Nope. Scotty Miller, I don't think Scotty Miller touched the ball, so that under was an absolute lock. Rob Gronkowski, yeah, he crushed me, Brent.
Gronk did us both dirty, Jeff.
He did.
Did
He
us
really
both dirty.
did. All right, your card. Go for it.
All right, let me walk you through this thing. Bucks plus 3.5, absolute lock. Why? Because I knew it was a sharp pick, and that's why I bet it. Under 56.5 was the easiest bet of the year. Successful 2-point conversion, not so much. It's going to be very difficult when Mahomes doesn't even have a damn touchdown, right? Scratch that one. Loser. Mecole Hardman, Mickey, more yards than Gronkowski. Yeah, he did us wrong. Gronk just buried us there. Tyreek Hill did have more yards than Chris Godwin. Thank God, because Godwin had a stinker of a game. National anthem over, Jeff. You nailed it. I nailed it. You all nailed it. You had to bet that. You sit in church. You never leave church. It takes forever. Over. Tails never fails. Except for this time.
It failed miserably.
Loser. And Patrick Mahomes, MVP, that's clearly a typo, and it was Tom Brady. Who would bet the Bucks spread 3.5 and then choose Mahomes MVP? Again, I blame producer John for that one. Either way, I'm going to take the loss on that one like a man. I'm going to take it like a man.
That was a
I'm not
real
going to blame
manly
my
way
producer.
to take it. Yeah.
I want to take a look at the tracker.
Okay.
If you notice one thing, Jeff,
yeah,
I'm winning. You're losing. Fade Jeff continues. Ride this ship all the way to the promised land because this guy's winning.
I do believe you said last week Tampa Bay covers, Kansas City wins by 1-3, and that's why Mahomes was.
Probably didn't say that.
All right, let's get to this week's cards. I'm going to start in your world of college basketball.
Oh, please.
St. John's at Butler, and give me Butler at Pick'em. And Brent, I almost had a heart attack over the weekend. I said on this very show that we would bet Jordan Spieth every single week. And then on week 2, I completely forgot. Spieth shot a 61 on Saturday. A 61, he almost won the Waste Management Open in Phoenix. Thankfully, he did not, but I think it's safe to say Jordan Spieth is back. The betting on him continues, and Brent, I can get him at 30-1. You like it, don't you?
Yeah,
you like it. All right, then some UFC hits for y'all. Maori Martin at -170. She's on the prelims card against Polyana Viana. Martin coming off a win against Hannah Cyphers, who Viana lost to in 2019. Viana on her way down. She's won just one of her last 4 fights. And then Macy, the future Barber. Brent, take out alone every single dollar on Barber at +110 against Grasso. And then, of course, we need the parlay. We need Martin. We need Barber. We need Usman. That pays at about +350. I think if we make it to the end, we can hedge a little bit on Gilbert Burns. And there you go. There is my card. Just all the locks. We're due for a big week, folks.
You are due. I mean, yeah. But anyway, go the opposite.
Okay.
Go the opposite of whatever Jeff's doing. If I find a cash advance, similar to Ron,
like Ron,
then maybe I'll jump on Macy Barber. Let's pull up my card. Here we go. VCU -1.5 at Dayton. It's an absolute dogfight in the Atlantic 10. This is college basketball. Bones Highland is the difference maker. They just pounded Dayton on Saturday. They're going to play again. I expect another thrashing. Their defense is too long. They're aggressive. It doesn't matter if Dayton is at home. They cannot find offense to stay with VCU. Jalen Crutcher can't do it all until they find a consistent score. VCU -1.5. Bubbleville is approaching. I love VCU. Next game, Penn State. The Nittany Lions +2, and I think that line's actually as good as +4 now. Yeah, so +2. If you can get them at +4, that's a home run. Again, they're at Michigan State. Little known fact, Isaiah Brockington, the difference maker at Penn State, transferred from St. Bonaventure. That's why Penn State is crushing. They're a balanced team. They're fighting the good fight in the Big Ten. I think as many as 8, 9, hell, even 10 teams could make it to the NCAA tournament this year. Penn State is one of them. They just need to keep winning in the toughest conference in college basketball. Move on down to golf, Pebble Beach. Dustin Johnson.
Yes. You know what? I'll book it. I'll just book it. So you don't. I just want to save you the hassle of having to go into the sports book. You have to put money
You're going to book
up.
that.
Yeah. What? +450?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll give you +500. I'll give you +500. Yeah,
Deal.
I'll just book it myself. Yeah, deal booked, locked,
yeah.
locked in.
Bad news.
Yeah, he withdrew.
Bad news. Dustin Johnson withdrew right before we did the show, I guess a little while ago. He's not even playing. He's Same plan. So I'm very good at picking golfers that withdraw from tournaments. I had Matthew Wolff a couple weeks ago.
right.
Now I got Dustin Johnson. Either way, let's go take a look at my guy, Ricky Fowler. You ready for the history?
Yeah.
Let me break this
At Pebble?
down for you. At Pebble Beach, a little history.
Please.
2010, in this tournament, 27th place.
Okay.
2012, missed the cut.
Okay, but here we go.
However, in the 2019 U.S. Open, which
Yeah.
was at Pebble Beach, he was one off the lead. He shot a 69. Nice. In the first round, Jeff, in the first round, he's poised. He's primed. He loves the beach.
How did he
loves
do in the
Pebble Beach.
rest of the tournament?
Tied for 49th. He shot 17 over. He's ready. He loves the beach. Ricky Fowler, I don't know what it is. I've got a feeling. That feeling is 55-1. I want to watch this pretty boy with the flat Puma Bryn win Pebble Beach. That's my guy, Ricky Fowler. That's my card with the exception of this guy, Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, Usman, yeah.
The Nigerian Nightmare.
Got it, yeah.
17-1 in his career.
Ooh,
this guy
badass.
can't lose. It's an absolute stinking lock. All the money on Kamaru Usman in the UFC fight.
Okay, I like the
There it is.
Kamaru Usman
There it
play.
is.
The Fowler one, you backed that up really, really well. So yeah, let's see if he gets it done. We forgot to include one pick.
Can't lose.
From last week. One Super Bowl pick.
well,
and I
let's
think
take a
it's
look,
only
shall we?
fair. Yeah,
Can
I
we
think
do
it's
this?
only fair to hear from the great Ali Najad.
Platypus, Hankopotamus. I know I promised you this video a few days ago, and when I first intended on making it, the line in the Super Bowl was Kansas City -3.5. And you know what? It's on sale now. Just checked, -2.5, which means a field goal clears it. Youth over experience, Chiefs for the repeat. You got to take Mahomes. That guy fucks. Tom Brady, my age, a little bit too old. I know he's taking the Florida Pirates to the dance here, but not going to happen. And full disclosure, I've never made a sports bet, and obviously I can't afford a haircut, so take all of this with a grain of salt. But Chiefs for the win. Don't take the money line. Give up 2.5. Peace.
Very sharp, huh?
Yeah, the
Very
enthusiasm
sharp guy.
was there.
You thought he was depressed in that video. How is he now after he actually made his first sports bet? Yeah.
He found the Chiefs at 2.5 somehow, some way.
Still didn't get a haircut.
Deserves some credit, yeah. No, the haircut will have to wait. All right, Brent, it's one of our favorite times of the show. It is time where we get to choose, with the help from you all in the chat, our DGen of the week. You ready for this?
Let's do this.
Okay, let's roll it with our first candidate. This was a little intense, Brent. How about betting $10,000 that the opening kickoff would not be returned for a touchdown? And it wasn't, so profit of $200.
Wager 10 grand
Well, yeah,
to win
yeah, yeah.
$200?
Yeah, just pick up an easy
That's
200.
the dumbest bet of all time.
What could go wrong?
It's the dumbest bet of all
What
time.
could go wrong? Well,
I mean,
Devin
I guess-
Hester could take it to the house.
Is it a free 200? It's a free 200. They're never returning the kickoff.
Well, Devin Hester returned the kick to the house.
No, I don't know. What's next on DJ?
Oh, God. Can you handle this one? I just don't. The Mattress Mac. It's just.
All right, so Mattress Mac was all in on the Bucks, and I can't see my screen, but I believe he wagered.
He wagered like $3.5 million. Yeah, but
$3.5
then he has
million?
money on the other side because of his promotional business. It's just like he's playing both sides, and he's like, "Oh, Mattress Mac comes in with a lot of money. What a big-time sports bettor he is." He has both sides of it. He has both sides. It's just a bunch of free promotion that we're giving Mattress Mac, and now we are participating in that promotion.
Sometimes you got to put your money where your mattress is, Jeff, and that's what Mattress Mac does every single
He
year.
really doesn't, though, because he bets
yeah.
one side and then he offers the promotions on the other. So it's not. My vote will not be for Mattress Mac, but will my vote be for our next contestant in Degenerate of the Week? Brent, it's Uncle Ron.
Oh, boy.
Outside the cash advance. I'm never gonna financially recover from this.
And he won't financially recover from this. And how about this? His mom, Lynn Hinkle, chimes in and says, "You're not moving into my basement. Love, Mom." I'll tell you what, Jeff, that's my vote for Degenerate of the Week. Uncle Ron, I think, has earned it by losing all of his money on the Chiefs.
Well, we do have one more candidate.
I don't care.
Okay. Well, let's show you guys that one candidate. And it has to do with the Super Bowl streaker. Supposedly a 50K bet on whether there would be a streaker at plus 750. And so I don't believe this one. Do you? I don't believe it.
I don't know, but I did see that Tony Dunst from the WPT, He tweeted out that he got a text from 3 of the sharpest, nerdiest squares that follow bets, and they said, you need to bet it right now. Go to a site that cannot be named.
Okay.
Bet this because it's for sure happening. The fix is in. And the odds went from 15 to 1 to 1.5 to 1, and sure enough, it happened. There was a streaker in the game, and it happened. So I do think that the fix was in. I just don't buy the money. I think it's
right. Okay,
bullshit.
Because what book would all of a sudden accept a $50K bet on a weird prop like that? I don't think any one of those sports books exists. All right, so Degenerate of the Week, you're going with Uncle Ron.
I'm going Ronnie.
What are you guys in the chat going with? I'm going to go with whoever put $10,000 on the kickoff not to be taken back to the house.
That's a sick puppy.
That's quite a sweat when the ball is in the air. A lot of votes in the chat for Uncle Ron, so I think we have to name Uncle Ron our Degenerate of the Week.
Ring the bell. There he is, the award winner. By the way, Jeff, can we get more likes and subscribes on this page? We are 3 away from 100 on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
We appreciate it so much. Everyone out there in the chat that had stuck with us, give us a little thumb job. Can we ask for a thumb job?
I think we can.
You
ask
love a
for
thumb job.
They're
Thank
quite
you.
nice.
Thank
yes,
you.
I think we can ask for that on this channel and for our new No Gamble, No Future channel. So you're checking us out on PokerGo YouTube channel. That's awesome. We love it. Like and subscribe. Check us out on our new No Gamble, No Future channel where we will be posting clips throughout the week. And also make sure to like and to, what's the other one? Subscribe. Yeah,
subscribe.
You just click subscribe, right?
Subscribe, please.
And it's free, I believe.
It is free.
It is free. Yeah. Click like and you click
now.
subscribe.
Do it now.
Do it right now. Do it right at this very moment. And we are over 100 likes, and we do thank you all for that. We thank you all for tuning in this week. We would like to thank our crew. We would like to thank 15-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner Phil Hellmuth for joining us. For Brent Hanks, I'm Jeff Platt. We'll see you next week on No Gamble, No Future, and we will leave you with a clip of the dance floor at one of my best friends' weddings. That would be Daniel Negreanu and Amanda Negreanu, very good friends with them. Dancing alongside one of my best friends.
Your best friend.
Yeah, that would be Phil Hellmuth. Shout out to our very own Remco Rinkema for this video, which also features D-Moon Girl, Danielle Anderson, and the aforementioned Ali Najad. Enjoy this one. We'll see you next week.